Good afternoon. Welcome to the Celtic Way. Breaking news live. Well, it's a pre-match preview of Celtic versus Kilmarnock. I'm Tony Haggerty at a Haggerty10 on the X handle, and I'm joined by Ryan McGinlay at the Ryan McGinlay on the X handle. How we all doing? How you doing, Ryan? All right? Did you make it to Celtic Park? All right?
Well, I'm about 3/4 there. I'm just at my parking spot, so I still need to do the walk to Celtic Park. But in terms of the driving portion of it, I've managed it. I'm here. I'm just about 10 minutes away from Celtic Park. So, yeah, ideal. Looking forward to the game, though, and glad it hasn't been cancelled or postponed. Just glad that it's getting to go ahead. Hopefully everybody can make it all good who's going to the game today and get there safely, regardless of what way you're going. But yeah, there's football to be played. Celtic have got 3 points to go and obtain it at home. So yeah, let's hope they get the job done.
Yes, I was just going to say, if you get a kayak or a canoe in that boot of yours as you head up, yeah, you're going to be giving it a bit of that.
These look a wee bit like armbands, so this jacket does look a bit. So I'll do a wee swim across the road.
You'll certainly float with a jacket like that, indeed. Now, guys, if you are going to the game, make sure you stay safe. You're hoping that Celtic can put on a show for you in such dismal weather, but stay safe, guys, and all the best if you're heading to Celtic Park. I hope you enjoy the spectacle. Now, Ryan, the team news is out. We both put our predicted 11s up. I put Bernardo in for Hatate. You love Hatate. You kept Hatate in. So lo and behold, I get 10. You got 11. So yeah, I just thought he might be inclined to change it because Hatate was off the boil the other night. But I guess he's maybe going with the thought process. You let players sometimes play through that wee dip, don't you? Sometimes you take them out for their own, but I think he's gone with Hatate to maybe just let him play through it and get himself back to the kind of form that he was shown prior to getting injured.
Yeah, it would just be typical that if he was to get back into form and then it was an international break for the next couple of weeks, so there's no Celtic game for a week or so. That's just the way these things sometimes end up. But yeah, it's another opportunity for him to play himself back into form, back into proceedings. As much as I did think Bernardo put in a really good cameo in the game against Lazio, I did think it was going to be Hatate that was going to start the game. You know, give him this opportunity to make things right, at least domestically. Give him the chance to really showcase his abilities once again in the league. If he plays well, more often than not, Celtic will win the game because of it. If he takes the game by the scruff of the neck, then there's not really too much that many teams can do about it, especially in the Scottish League. If he plays well, Celtic win. You're just hoping that he can provide his best performance today alongside O'Reilly and McGregor in the midfield.
Yeah. Now, we've spoke about it all week. Wonderful chance for Celtic to go 7 ahead of St Mirren and 10 ahead of Rangers, respectively. We have to take that chance, Ryan, today, regardless of how it comes about. We'd love a good show, but you don't know how the weather's going to affect kind of performance and stuff like that. But just got to win today, Ryan. That's the bottom line, isn't it? 3 points.
I think that's the same every week, to be honest with you. I know as Celtic supporters, you expect a good performance as well. But the main thing is for Celtic to go out and get those 3 points and keep this run going. You know, they're in a really good run in the league at the moment. The last time they dropped points was against St Johnstone. You think about that away run. The games that Celtic have played, Fir Park, Ibrox, Pittodrie, etc. It's been a really, really rough start to the season in terms of the fixture schedule, which means that it should be a bit easier come, the winter months. I know we've got that double header against Hibs and Hearts, or Hearts and Hibs with Atletico Madrid bang in the middle of it. That's going to be a very, very difficult week to negotiate. But these are the moments that you look for. You think about it during pre-season and during the off-season. You miss the football. You miss having these games to look forward to. Obviously this game will take care of itself today. The chance to get revenge on a team, the only team to beat Celtic domestically so far in Scotland. That's got to be in the heads of the players. Yes, Celtic are in a different place. Brendan Rodgers was saying that they're meeting Kilmarnock in a different place than what they were. What was that, 1.5, 2 months ago? So, yeah, it's a chance for revenge. I know they probably won't be thinking that way in terms of revenge, but it's definitely a byproduct of all of it, and they'll be looking to make things right, especially the last result.
It's in the nostrils, isn't it? I said that in the preview that I wrote, that there's a whiff of revenge in the nostrils and in the air, and the manager kept the R kind of theme going by saying he wanted Celtic to be ruthless and relentless. So the 3 R's today, Ryan, I think, as lessons go: revenge, be ruthless, and be relentless. And if Celtic do all of those 3, then they will come out on top and come out victors. Good to see Palmer starting. Just think he's starting to show signs of settling in, Ryan. He scored a fortuitous, or we could call it what you like, against Motherwell to open his account last weekend, a fortuitous goal. But I think he knew what he was doing. He was certainly aiming it for that area to get a touch. And lo and behold, it went into the net and took that goal well the other night, the one that was disallowed by VAR. Really unlucky. But I just want to see him to, let him loose for 90 minutes and see what he's got in his locker.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if he'll last the 90 minutes, to be honest. I think it'll be a 60, 70-minute job. Hopefully, by that time, the game is over and you can bring somebody like Yang onto the pitch, onto proceedings to make an impact. I think there's definitely some positives in Yang's game as well. He's still to put it all together. That's why he's at Celtic. He's a development player. It might take him a couple of years to get to that point, but he is. I mean, along with a lot of the wrong that he's doing, there are wee glimpses of right that are going to be good in the next couple of years. His dribbling ability.
Oh, you're faded out there, Ryan. Are you still there? Oh, screen frozen. He was in mid-flow there, as you can see from the screenshot there. He's in mid-flow. Oh, good.
Sorry about that.
Back in the room. You were in mid-flow, Ryan. On you go, sir.
Yeah, adverse weather conditions. Yeah, just going on to Palma, to be honest. I don't think enough's getting talked about that first touch or the touch to go inside before taking the shot. I know it was a disallowed goal, but it's only disallowed because Maeda touches it onto Palma. If it goes straight through to Palma first time around, he's onside, he's going to score the goal. But yeah, it was really good technique and the confidence to take on a high quality goalkeeper like Providel on his near post and to slot it in like that. There was wee glimpses that you've seen. There's definitely a player there to work with if you could put it all together. I know people in the past couple of days have been like, if you could combine Yang and Palma together, you'd get one hell of a player. Fortunately, that isn't the case, but those two players are going to be good in different situations. I think for different games, they'll call for different wingers. And it's good to have that balance or that sort of choice and variety. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Palma start today. I think this is his big opportunity. He took it against Motherwell. He did take it against Lazio, even though it was disallowed. This is his big chance today to start. I think this is his first domestic start. I think the only other game he started was against Feyenoord. So this is a big day for Palma, and I hope he takes it. If he's on form, and we've seen glimpses of him already. We've seen him glimpses against when he was playing for Aris as well, Aris Thessaloniki. That he can score goals. He can score goals and he can assist goals as well. You're hoping he can get a couple of them today and really kickstart proceedings because he was a hero last weekend at Fir Park. You want to keep that sort of hero mentality going.
Yeah. Over 130 people joining us, Ryan, live on the platform, so people are coming in with their views, so
Thank
flick
you,
up
everybody.
A few comments. Yeah, appreciate that. TJ Lindy, Rio is one of our Celtic's best players, but he wouldn't have started him today. Hazel Finn saying Hattadi's a big game to play today. I really hope he shows up. Yep.
I've got a feeling he will. I've just got a funny feeling he will.
Great to see Cameron Carter-Vickers and Palmer start. Hope to see Palmer on the left and Mead out right. Palmer's strongest position. His prediction is 3-0. DJ Lindy comes back in and says, can we agree we're all excited for Bernardo? Hope he gets around half an hour. I can agree on that because he was in my starting 11, TJ. There you go. Neil Reid, good to see Palmer get a start. So, yeah, lots of people coming in. So thanks, guys, for your comments. Appreciate it. If you're making your way to the game, be careful. It is adverse, more than adverse weather conditions out there. So
yeah, it's very much so.
Well done to you for making the game as well. Here's hoping, as Ryan says and myself are saying, that Celtic put on a show, and they do take this opportunity to go 7 ahead of St Mirren, 10 ahead of Rangers. Both of those teams in action tomorrow. Anything else? You, Cameron Carter-Vickers, back in the starting 11? And also besides Scales, Ryan, we predicted that Scales could not be dropped from that side. So that's a wee vote of confidence in both players from the manager there, I guess.
It certainly is. And I hope the fact that Lagerbielke isn't on the bench, I hope that's not an injury that he's picked up. I mean, you don't want it to be either way. You don't want him to be dropped from the squad completely because of his form. Because I thought he was okay against Motherwell. He came off for Phillips for the last half hour. So maybe it is tactical, or maybe it is a knock that he's picked up. He did get called up for the the Swedish national team. There's a lot of Scottish links in that Swedish national team. You think of Starfelt in the defence as well. Hollander that used to play for Rangers too, but Lagerbielke's in there, and that Sweden team. I'm just hoping that maybe is a knock and it's not tactical, because I don't want his confidence to be stunted even more.
Yeah.
He's definitely a confidence player, definitely a confidence defender. His skills deserves to be there. At the moment, he deserves to be starting games. Delighted for him for his call-up for the Republic of Ireland as well. Well deserved. That's probably one of Ireland's better positions too. Look at Nathan Collins at the back there. That's pretty much a first pick every week for Brentford. So, it's good competition to have there. But I'm delighted for him. Cameron Carter-Vickers, absolutely delighted to see him back in the starting lineup. He's the safety net. Him and Alistair Johnson for me are the two safety nets in that defence. You feel like Celtic can win games with those two players at the back.
My thoughts on that are, I'm glad he's given them the chance to get back in the saddle, as they say, and not dwell and wallow in what happened the other night. The only way to get things like that out of your system is to go back on the pitch and play. And Cameron Carter-Vickers has bailed Celtic out on many an occasion, and he's been a colossus, so I don't think the Celtic supporters would be judge him too harshly after what happened the other night. Just these things can happen at any time, and it was a very rare and uncharacteristic error from Cameron Carter-Vickers just back in the side. So I'm glad Brendan Rodgers has said to him, look, the other night's happened, it's gone, park it, go out there and get back into your stride, certainly domestically, because we'll need you for all the big important games coming forward. So I'm quite happy about that, Ryan. A couple more comments coming in from others. Lucky 15 Voodoo, Hattati owes the fans a performance. Hazel Finn saying, think the weather's going to play a big part today. Hope Cameron Carter-Vickers is careful on that pitch. Hope they're all careful on that pitch, because you just don't know.
Could hit anybody.
Yeah.
Could hit anybody.
Neil Reid taking a leaf out of my book. Good day for a rip-roaring, free-scoring, never boring display from Celtic. Indeed, you know my thoughts on that. It's always a rip-roaring, free-scoring, never boring Glasgow Celtic day. Hopefully that turns out to be the case. Neil, thank you for that. Appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, lots of subplots here, Ryan. You spoke about as well. The only team to beat Celtic domestically in that League Cup game, Brendan Rodgers said that Celtic are in a far better place. They're a far different team. Totally agree with that. We spoke about revenge. It was one of those words that the former manager never used to like using, didn't he? He said he didn't buy into all these things about revenge, but it'll certainly be, the players will be mindful of what happened at Rugby Park, won't they? And I think that'll give, if they need any extra spring in their step, or extra determination, that result maybe still smart. They're still smarting over that result, still hurting a wee bit. And what better way to take out your kind of inbuilt anger and channel it and aggression in the right way than to do it to Kilmarnock today. And I'm just glad that the game's on, Ryan, and they have that carrot of going 7 and 10 ahead of the two teams that play respectively tomorrow. Go and grasp that, control the variables that you can control, and then worry about what happens tomorrow. Not even worried. Don't particularly care if you win today. That's the bottom line, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Put the pressure on the two teams that are playing tomorrow. Just do your business on the park. Control the controllables that you can control. Get the 3 points, and then put pressure on those two teams, and they can fight it out tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how that does transpire tomorrow, just given the two teams sort of where their positioning is at the moment, mentally and both in the table as well. But to talk about Celtic, if they need any more, any more inspiration or invigoration, just look at the result 3 days ago. They should have won that game. Looking back on it, the more you watch the highlights, the more you look at the stats. You look at the chances that Celtic had. They should have won that game. I know you don't have any God-given right or divine right to win games just by turning up, but just given the chances that Celtic had in that game, they really should have put Lazio to the sword, in all honesty. But if they want any more invigoration or any motivation, then take that. Don't put the result in any doubt this afternoon. Go out, put on a performance. It's going to be difficult in that. There's Paddy talking.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult in that. it's going to be difficult in that sort of what do you call it, with the conditions on the pitch. Both teams have to play it as well. Kilmarnock are going to be playing on it, so use it to your advantage. Maybe use long balls, fast football on the ground as well. It's not going to be a dry pitch. That's the good thing. There's always a worry about Celtic coming up against dry pitches when teams haven't watered them. There'll be no shortage of water on that pitch today, so they should be able to play their fast, free-flowing football, and hopefully they get the result and a good performance as well. They'll tick both boxes. Good performance, good win. Put that pressure on the two teams tomorrow, and we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Yeah. 420 somewhere, Paddy. Permanent one from 420 somewhere. It could be Paddy, it could be Evie, it could be Oscar, it could be Ben. All of them go off their nut at certain times when certain people walk past the window. You know how it is. Live TV, they're down the stairs, you can hear them all going bananas, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, they seem to have quietened down now. Yeah, control the controllables, Ryan. Win the 3 points. Be even better if Celtic gave a performance as well. Celtic fans are like that. 163 people on the chat, so thank you guys. We really do appreciate it. Hope you're all wrapped up and you're warm. But like young Ryan there, he's got the right idea with the jackets. Big puffer jacket there, excellent, as he's ready to brave the elements. But yeah, I think on the basis of it, Ryan, we more or less picked that team, didn't we? I had Bernardo in for Hatate, you picked Hatate. And strong team. I think the manager's going strong and hard, and that's certainly a sign that Celtic kind of mean business today as well. No real tinkering with it, and showing Kilmarnock kind of all the respect that they need to be shown by issuing putting out a strong team, and I'm quite happy about that. And if need be, there are people on the bench who can come on and affect the outcome of that game. I'm thinking of Bernardo, I'm thinking of Iwata, Yang, guys like that. So hopefully, as you say, by the time that those guys come on, that the game is put to bed or is dead and buried, and Celtic are on course for 3 points. But if need be, there's still some quality on the bench that can come on and affect that and impact it if they need to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. What I would say as well, just as a bit of a side note to the players that are on the bench, they've got to make an impact when they come on as well.
Yeah.
Even if the game is over, they shouldn't just be coming on just to fill up the team or to make up the numbers for the rest of the game. That is a big opportunity for them. And you did see that in Ange Postecoglou's teams. The players that came onto the park off the bench, for them, that was a golden opportunity to show it in a game setting, to show what they could offer to the team. I'm looking at guys like Yang, who did start the last game, or he started the last 2 games, but he's on the bench, make an impact off the bench. Has got to start scoring goals, coming off the bench. That Giakoumakis comparison or lack of comparison is always going to be there until he starts scoring goals. There's always going to be that question mark as to, is he a downgrade on Giakoumakis? I think there's still plenty to work with O, but he's got to be scoring goals. There's no point in being a backup striker if you can't score goals. You're not a striker in that case. You're just a guy that plays up top and doesn't score any goals. He's got to break his duck soon, is what I would say. He showed some stuff in pre-season, and I don't want to go too hard on him because he hasn't had that many minutes. But when the minutes do come, if that does come from 20-25 minutes today, then he's got to get on the score sheet and really bust a gut to make himself, to put up a challenge. Because it does seem a bit like there's one striker at the moment at Celtic, it's Kyogo, and then somebody else playing that role. And I know that might sound quite harsh on O, but he's really got to start taking his opportunities. Same for the midfielders that come onto the park.
Yeah.
Hatate's got to be pushed. If he's having bad performances, there's got to be a ready-made replacement on the bench to come on to push him all the way. Bernardo did do that during the week, but maybe he's just not ready for the first team as of yet or to start games. But it's up to them. Once they get onto the pitch and cross that white line, it's up to them to make an impression on Brendan Rodgers. They've got all week to train, but when they're on that park, they've got a chance to really affect things and affect proceedings. So it's up to them to take their chance once it comes. You're just hoping that when it does come, they can take it.
Yep. Now, more comments coming in, Ryan. I'll flick them up. Here we go. What we got? Chris Murray, 4-0 Celtic. Players will want revenge for the cup game. Yep. JM, a bit more pessimistic. Think it'll be another hard watch today. Hope he's wrong. And then Hazel Finn saying home on the bench, but she'd like to see where he's going to fit in. Yeah. I am total agreement, Ryan, that the guys that come on do have to make an impact whatever minutes they're getting. So I'm happy with that they can come on and make an impact. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. So yeah, we have it. Excuse me.
I'm delighted that Holmes on the bench as well. I'm mentioning Bernardo because we obviously had that proof of him coming onto the pitch and affecting proceedings against Lazio. We've also got Odin home. I don't want him to be thinking too much about his red card that he picked up against Feyenoord. That is in the past now. Now it's his fresh opportunity to try and break into this first team. It's going to be difficult because those three midfielders at the moment, they pick themselves. Maybe Hatate down to his form is that only position that he could maybe break his way into. But in terms of McGregor's always going to play because he's the captain. Unfortunately, he does play 60 games a season. You're hoping there isn't a negative slant on that towards the end of the season, or if he picks up an injury halfway through. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But, in terms of O'Reilly and McGregor, those are two positions that are basically picked just now. O'Reilly's been Celtic's best player this season. I don't think there's anyone that could even argue with that now. Look at the numbers, The numbers speak for themselves. He plays every game because at the moment he's Celtic's best player, or Celtic's best attacking talent, out with Kyogo. It's up to Kyogo to catch up with Matt O'Reilly today, get a couple of goals, get back into the top goal scorer conversation. I want to see them fighting it out for that top goal scorer berth because I think they're a really, really good part.
Fight it out for as long as possible.
I think they're a really good partnership. I think they're a really, really good modern partnership. Now, I made the point a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, rather. It was a couple of weeks ago anyway. That Matt O'Reilly and Kyogo are the new partnership. Now, look at the two of them. A lot of the things come through those two players. Kyogo will assist it to O'Reilly. O'Reilly will assist it to Kyogo. You've seen that on Wednesday. Just great football by the two of them. They're clearly two really good football players that are on the same wavelength. Anything positive from Celtic today or any goals will probably come from those two outlets just because they are so consistent. They've both got an eye for goal this season. Kyogo did anyway, but Matt O'Reilly's already overtaken his goal tally from last season. It's up to them to be getting into those double figures before even Christmas time, I would say, for the two of them. If that is the case, then you could be looking at some extraordinary numbers for a partnership of an attacking midfielder and a striker. But yeah, hopefully they both do the business today.
I'd settle for another couple of crafted goals. The way they scored against Lazio the other night just ripped a hole in the Lazio defence, and it was a wonderfully, as I say, crafted goal and brilliant first time touch from O'Reilly and great finish from Kyogo. Sorry, Ryan, on you go.
And they're signed up as well. The two of them as well. In times gone by, Celtic would watch, as Celtic supporters, you would watch these players do well, and then you'd be worried about their contractual situation because you're like, Celtic aren't going to tie them down to a new deal. They're worth more than they'll probably get sold for. That isn't the case now. Now they're tied down. They know their value to the team. Matt O'Reilly, Kyogo, Hatate, etc., McGregor, they all know that they are the main men in that team. Maeda too, because of the new deals. They'll now be getting paid a handsome sum to be playing for Celtic. And that's good for the eventual transfer fee as well. Not that I say that Kyogo will go anywhere. I think he'll probably stay for the rest of his prime at Celtic now. He's just at that age that I think he's quite happy with his lot. In terms of the younger players, their transfer fees are going to be inflated now because of those new deals. That's why it was so important to get them tied down, because they know their value and they know how important they are to Celtic.
Yep. Comments coming in right, left and centre and predictions as well. So I'll just read some of them out before... now, here's a bit of advice for you. Scotland to break above, son, you're going to need it. There you go.
I had a wee bit of soup before the game, before driving in, so I'm quite heated up.
Francis Green says 6-1 to Celtic. There's a major scoreline prediction there. Andrew Gillia saying Maeda will score today. No bother, Andrew. And Chris Murray saying Hatate needs to kick on now and prove it's his jersey. Otherwise, give the other guys a chance and make Hatate fight for his jersey back. Something we've spoken about earlier in this programme, that he needs that competition with guys, and if he knows guys like Bernardo and Odin Thiago Home are breathing down his neck, then it might just spur him on to produce a bit more. Having had a wee kind of lull, I think you've said. Francis Green saying hopefully Hatate turns on his style today. On you go, Ryan, sorry.
I just noticed that Turnbull isn't on the bench today. Is that an injury? It must be an injury, because But every injury at the same time presents an opportunity for a player like Odin, Thiago Holm, or Paulo Bernardo. They've got to take these chances when they come along. It's disappointing for Turnbull because you would think that he'd be maybe one of the ones that would try and push Hatate all the way if Hatate was off form. Not that I necessarily subscribe with the fact that Hatate's off form, because I thought he was decent against Motherwell. I just thought he had a poor game against Lazio. Maybe he's not to the same standards, but I didn't think he was that bad against Motherwell. He had a bad game against Lazio, but he can still. He's far too good a player to dwell on these performances. I do expect a statement performance from him today because it's due.
The Slavering Cabbage 3-0 to the champions. He says, like the sound of that, and also there's another one that I quite like. Uncle Nobby Steamboat, I just love that name. Scales to complete his overhead kick.
I would have walked out of the stadium if that happened. I would have seen it all if that went in. That was crazy.
I think Scales would probably have packed it all in as well and just thought, my job's done here. Chris Murray saying he agrees with Ryan that he's looking forward to seeing Bernardo and Home. I think we're all looking forward to seeing them both. As I say, I had Bernardo in my starting 11 because I quite like the look of him. I like what he brought the other night. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully he gets some game time today. And over 200 in the group chat. So thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Take care now.
Thing I would say about
on you go, Ryan.
Just quickly about Bernardo. One thing I would say about Bernardo, it took a while for Edward to get into the first team, to get into proceedings when he was brought in. Just because he isn't starting games or getting big appearances so far, Edward was the same. He did score that goal in his debut against Hamilton. I know that, but he was in and out of the team. It took that performance against Motherwell. Remember when he scored the hat trick around about Christmas time when he scored that to really announce himself to the Celtic faithful. As long as he bides his time, trains well, he'll get that opportunity, because I think the two sides are feeling each other out basically with regard to, is Bernardo acclimatising to Scotland? Does the manager like what he sees with Bernardo? There's definitely a talent there. So I don't think it's a time running out sort of situation today for him. He's just easing his way into things, and as long as he's doing his work off the pitch, then he'll get those opportunities on the pitch eventually. He just needs to bide his time, unfortunately, for maybe a further loss of form or an injury to someone. But at the moment, that midfield is pretty much set, and he needs to just make the most of his opportunity when he gets them off the bench.
Yep. Uncle Nobby Steamboat later trips 4-0. He says John Doherty 3-0 to Celtic, he's saying as well. So the Slavering Cavies, Ryan looks pumped. He loves that feeling before a home game. I think we're always excited. The whole game, exactly. Celtic got a chance to go 7 ahead of St Mirren and 10 ahead of Rangers today. If they can defeat Kilmarnock. We've been on air for just shy of a half hour, 28 minutes, over 200 people joining us. We really appreciate that, guys. We try and read out your comments as well. It's not a day for football, is it really? But the game goes ahead. Celtic got a wonderful chance. Well, that's true. Yeah. It's not. Well, I don't think goalkeepers will relish it, Ryan.
It's not a defender's day unless they like a slide tackle. Maybe it's a day for Odin Home then. We know he likes a slide tackle. Maybe he'll enjoy it off the bench.
He does indeed. Eileen Feeks, love it on the boys. Indeed, Eileen, thank you for that. Regular contributor and commenter in the section. Ryan, do you want to go and get yourself sorted and head up to Paradise? Because you're still about 10 minutes away from the ground, and we will reconvene at some point after the match. Yes.
Yes, it might be from my car again, especially if it's raining. If it's post-match and it's still raining, then I think you can all forgive me from choosing to do it in my car. It's just down to it's Scottish weather, isn't it? The Scottish winter has arrived. We don't get autumn here. It's summer, and then it goes directly into winter for about 6 months. That's just how it happens.
Summer, and then it just goes dark. Someone flicks that switch, don't they? And it's dark for about the next 4 or 5 months. But hey, there you have it. But enjoy, sir. 3-0 Celtic, says Dennis Jameson. Thank you, Dennis. Another regular contributor and commenter in the section.
Do you want to do a prediction, Tony? What's your prediction?
I was on yesterday with Kevin, and I think I said 3-0. I think we both said 3-0. So, yourself, Ryan, you go for a prediction?
I'll go one more. I'll go 4-0.
You going 4? Francis Lester coming in, 3-0 Celtic. Great pod, boys, as usual. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Francis.
very much,
We
Francis. Appreciate it.
appreciate it. 420 Summer saying 3-0. Stephen Kelly 4-0. Marquis coming in. Ryan got a mountaineering sponsorship. Well, if he doesn't have one, we should ask for that. See if any mountaineering outlets out there want to sponsor the pod. You're all welcome. You can do that. And Eileen Feeks saying 3-1. Andrew Galea saying you at the game today, Tony. No, Ryan's at the game. We alternate it. I do away games. Ryan does home games. Somebody's got to be and do the studio stuff, i.e. set up the podcast and all that. So that's why we alternate it. So you'll see Ryan at home games and I'll do the away games. That's the way we work it. I think that's only fair. Yeah, the dream team or a nightmare squad, whatever way you want to look at it, one of them ones, isn't it? Cheers, lad. I'm subscribing next month.
Thank you very much.
Scotland the Brave. That's very kind. We appreciate that. For those of you, we always say it every time we're on. If you want to subscribe, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube podcast. You get them for free. You get notifications whenever we're on. But also subscribe to the website. It costs you £4 for 4 months or $2.99 a month. And you hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Good man, Tony says, Andrew Galea, no worries. Paul Pierce saying 3-0 to Celtic. And Tony's got the ice cream in for Ryan later.
Yeah, lactose tolerant, can't have ice cream, unfortunately.
That's kind of how we work it. Which alternating, it's the way it works for us. So yeah, and I thought hopefully it works for you guys. But Ryan, I'll see you after the game at some point from your car. Stay safe, young man. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
Here's hoping it's rip roaring, free scoring, never boring. Yeah, and Celtic get another 3 points and just take care of business today.
That's it, absolutely. You know, Celtic got a job to do. Go out and do it, and just put the pressure on tomorrow.
The slabbering cabbage, brilliant, boys. Thank you so much, guys. It's always result dependent, but we'll reconvene after the game. Take care wherever you're watching it. If you're in the stadium, enjoy it and just take care and be safe. All right, take care, and I'll see you all later.
Cheers, guys.